Alldus podcast is brought to you by Alldus International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our AI in Action series, where leading minds in AI from across the world share their story, success, and advice. AI in Action cuts through the hype and explores the true impact of artificial intelligence in our world today.
You're listening to AI in Action. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guest today is Ariel Utnik. Ariel is the COO at Verbit. Ariel, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, JP. Nice, great to be in here.
Yeah, we're delighted to have you. So, Ariel, let's start with yourself. Can you give us a brief overview of your background in technology? Just a bit of a summary of your journey from where you got started to what's led you to where you are today.
I started 25 years ago, mainly on the technology side, right after the army, where I did several technology roles. I joined the high-tech scene, started my journey more on the quality assurance area, developing automation and load testing. And from there, I found myself quite quickly going to customer delivery, R&D role. And in the last 15 years, I focus on the business side, mainly a customer, new business, and now with Verbit also dealing with some interesting M&A plays.
Thank you, Ariel. You talked about it there just briefly, so leads nicely into my next question. Tell us all about Verbit, who you are, what the mission of the organization is, and then give us some insight into the interesting work, particularly on the M&A side.
Sure. So Verbit is the leading AI-powered transcription and captioning platform for education, legal, corporate, and media sectors. Our vision is to make audio and video content more accessible to everyone, whether at work, school, or other environment. We are providing an accurate word-to-word transcription in captions to our customer based on their individual need and industry guidelines required. If we're talking about the sector, so transcription in education is very much different than in media and legal and finance, and we know how to adjust it based on the specific sector. Verbit also offers audio description to help vision impairment or low vision audience, and audio-visual translation to serve the need of international audience and help content creators to expand their reach.
Well, thank you for that. I'm thinking a lot about the different use cases, and I'm sure you can give us some examples, but most recently with the impact of the pandemic, we've seen a huge shift towards video and audio interactions. Can you give us some insight into what that journey has been like for Verbit and how that shift has driven traffic to what you guys do and the use of AI technology?
Yes, of course. So I think 2 years ago in February, the world has changed. People shifted working remotely. And this required an adjustment in their work environment. I think let's take the education sector. So from in-campus lectures, everyone was moving to Zoom, need to adjust to the new way of learning. And we need to make sure that we take care of incorporate the inclusion into this solution, which can start with transcription for the hard of hearing, and up to a transcription of the whole lectures to enable everyone to be able to review what was said and be able to efficiently learn more. Another example is the legal market, from the position that was happening face-to-face in offices. Everything moved to remote, and there was a big shift and a big need for a digital transcription, where Verbit basically quickly developed a solution that enable a live deposition, digital rough draft, and final for remote session. And we see this change is something that is going to stay, something that is, I would say the pandemic gave it the push that it needed, but I don't see the legal industry, for example, going back to fully face-to-face as was before the pandemic. I think it's also enable corporate, adjust better to remote work, and we are talking about a hybrid model. And Verbit as one that helped to provide accessibility to those type of meetings is driving this change.
Ariel, staying on the point of the impact that this technology can have to audio and video captioning post-COVID, can you give us some insight into how you think this is going to change the marketplace in the future now that it's been more broadly adopted and it will continue to increase? How do you see it change, and how does Verbit leverage these elements?
Sure. So Verbit is a data-driven business that at every level of the company, we harness data and AI to measure and forecast our business performance in marketing, sales, customer success. AI also increased the efficiency of our transcriber community. AI does everything from preventing fraud to making sure that the transcripts are accurate and consistent. AI also ensure our transcription job are being assigned properly to our 30,000 transcribers, and that the work get completed quickly and efficiently. I can give you an example. Let's say you would like to transcribe a legal deposition, or you would like to transcribe a history lesson. You probably want a different transcriber with a different skill set to do the job. So our AI is able to pick the right person at the right time to make sure that you get the job done. The AI revolution is interventing how nearly every business operates, with manual jobs shifting from human labor to automation. Many businesses are making AI-guided decisions, from identifying typical errors that occur to offering on-the-job training to suit the employee's specific needs and goals. At the end, the revolution is also driving opportunities for the businesses to consider a combination of power of both artificial and human intelligence, which are what we do at Verbit. The use case of AI-human hybrid model are endless, from deeper analysis to human performance to efficiently automating and operation business performance. When a business take AI and plug in the human element, they experience an increase in workforce performance and more informed decision-making.
You are listening to the Alldus podcast. When you're looking to scale your team, or if you are interested in showcasing your company in a future episode, reach out today. Or if you're in the market for a new role, visit our website to view open positions, www.alldus.com.
Ariel, looking at the technology behind all of this, I want to help our listeners understand what goes on behind the scenes. So the current makeup of the AI and data team, and what a typical project is like when you interact with a customer, from first conversations to drafting up the proposals, the models, and then the build and implementation. Could you very quickly just walk us through what that journey looks like?
Sure. Maybe I can just give you some example of how our technology leverage the AI to make the impossible possible. So if we look on several, let's take 3 examples of use cases. Transcription for finance. So finance, let's take earning call as an example. We have 2 weeks of a massive earning call happening in the same time, where the push from the market, we want the transcription as fast as we can ready. So the traditional way of doing it was doing some human intensive, I would call it sweatshop, trying to transcribe the work as fast as they can, mostly with some mediocre accuracy, in order to provide it to the market. And we are talking about, since the earning call end, it need to be in the market within 4 hours. And stuff are being done in parallel within a very short period of time. What Verbit is able to do with the technology and the AI is basically unlimited volume of earning calls, accuracy guaranteed within 4 hours or less. So we see more finance vendors engage with Verbit in order to enjoy the combination of human and AI in order to serve their market needs. Because 24 hours after the earning call, it's old news. Nobody needs it. So or you are able to get it fast, up to 4 hours, and I think everyone would like to have it faster, or it's not relevant anymore. Another example can be an expert network interview. The time to market is very critical, but the terminology is very specific. Our technology is basically, our AI is being trained on the fly. So our transcriber are doing the work, and let's say a human has fixed a word, it's been fed back to our AI. So the AI, when he transcribed, the machine transcribed the word 5 minutes later, it will pick up the right word. So we have an adjusted on-the-fly AI that is getting better and better with the combination between technology and human. And maybe the third one, which we touched earlier, is really to enable the ability to do live deposition and provide a rough draft very fast after the proceeding happened in a very specific format and guideline needed by the legal. And you can understand that on legal, the tolerance for mistake is like almost zero. And in order to provide this very adjusted transcription to that specific market, there is a need of technology to enforce all the guidelines and the accuracy that is needed for the specific market. And this can be done only using a combination of AI and human, as we do in Verbit.
That's really helpful, and it helps visualize the work and engineering behind the scenes. Can you talk to us a little bit about the growth of Verbit in terms of the headcount and the types of people you've had to hire over the past 2 years, just to give us some insight into what opportunities there may be for people in the future who are interested in cutting edge, real-time impact AI technology?
Sure. So Verbit basically operate in several locations. We have the headquarters in Tel Aviv, where we have technology and R&D. We have another team in Kiev. We have another R&D team based in Montreal and another one in Denver. The way that we operate in Verbit is very much vertical specific. So we understand what the specific vertical need and make sure that we build the right technology to serve this specific vertical versus an approach of a generic transcription. I don't care if you are media or legal, which I think is possible, but it's not providing the customer the end product that they need, where we deal with both the voice to text, the whole efficiency of the operation, as I explained, with the right person for the right job, how we make sure that there is no fraud being done, how the ASR is getting improved on the fly, what type of the output our customer needs. So all those pieces of technology are being productized based on a specific vertical.
Ariel, I want to know, just understand from your perspective, what drew you to Verbit, what drew you to this industry? And when you look ahead now that you've been there for the past 3 years, what are you most excited about for the next few years at Verbit?
Maybe I will start with how I was introduced to Verbit. So I was introduced to our CEO, Tom Livne, by one of our investors, Yossi Cohen, who happened to be my CEO, who recruited me to one of the previous company called Panaya. When I talked with Tom and learned about TAM, the total addressable market, the opportunity and the technology disruption, and the M&A, which is very much unique to Verbit, I found it as a very unique opportunity. In general, when you look on a consideration joining a company, I think there are 3 main parameters that you should look. One is the market itself. So what is the total addressable market which this company plays? And the larger it is, the better and the chances for the company to succeed. Second one is the technology and the product market fit. And the third one, and maybe not less important, is the team that you are going to work with, because we are going to spend most of our hours during the day working with this team. And one of the unique DNAs that we have is the joy of creation, working with each other and enjoying the journey that we are doing together.
Excellent. Final question from me then, Ariel, staying on this point of why Verbit and then the growth ahead. Can you give us some insight into the types of hiring that's going to be required over the next year to continue to grow and build a platform from engineering, analytics, and any AI related roles?
Of course. So we are always looking for strong talent around voice to text. We are looking for data people because we would like to give our customer more than only the transcript, or what are the insights that they can get out of the transcript. We building our own marketplace, so the ability to connect and to integrate with other type of solution. And I would say one of the biggest challenge that we have is how do we make this whole operation as techy as possible, really helping our transcriber to be more engaged and more efficient during this work, which is a unique piece of technology that we build in Verbit that I never seen before. So the opportunity in Verbit is, I think, is really unique one. And I think the learning journey that every one of us is doing is really special.
I agree completely. I think anytime you see AI being introduced into a manual, labor-intensive, fault and error-ridden space, and AI can make it fast, automated, and accurate, it is a good thing. It sounds exciting, and clearly you guys are having a lot of success already with the customer engagement. So thank you for coming on today. Ariel, we wish you and everyone at Verbit the best of luck in the mission going ahead.
Thank you very much. I enjoy our conversation.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.